Start again.
Hello, Macrine here for Trending with Macrine. I told you I was going to bring my guest today. He's a presidential aspirant contesting for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my great country, the giant of Africa. This is a season of politics and politicking. So live with me here today is Mr. Omoyele Sowore. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's such an honor and a privilege to have you seated beside me.
Thank you for bringing me.
Yes.
It's an honor too.
Thank you. I just want you to tell us who you are. Who is Mr. Sowore?
My name is Omoyele Sowore. So introduce me. My daytime job up until now is it's been a citizen reporter. I publish a news website known as Sowore. I've done a lot of work on promoting transparency, accountability, electoral reform, and generally broadening the democratic space in Nigeria. So before then, I did a lot of pro-democracy work in Nigeria as a student activist and bonding with other pro-democracy activists around Nigeria to bring about democratic growth after several years of suffering from military dictatorship.
Yes.
So that's, in a nutshell, how best I think I can describe myself for your audience or our audience right now.
Yes.
So we can move to other topics.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he's a media entrepreneur.
Yes.
Sahara Reporter is very famous. We all know that's where we go to get the other side of the story.
That's right.
So, in Nigerian parlance, we say rise through the ranks in civil service. I was a civil servant. What is your motivation for going to the Apex office? Constitutionally, all you require is school cert,
Yes.
citizen, no criminal convictions, but talking non-constitutional, what is your motivation for the highest office of Nigeria?
My motivation is very simple. Nigeria has been around for 58 years as an independent nation.
Yes.
And in the last 30 years out of that 58, I have been part of the movement of young people who've done everything they can to make Nigeria work. First, our biggest challenge was fighting military rule.
Yes.
And I joined hands with other young people, mostly students, lawyers, doctors, and very vibrant segment of our society to force the military out of power. And after that, there was democracy. 1999, I was part of people that have been giving voice to the voiceless. I set up a media platform that I introduced earlier, as Sahara Report has done. Interesting work in broadening our democratic space and giving people a chance to voice their opinion about transparency, security, economy, and politics in general. It's been a political platform that's helped to do a lot of work. And we'll talk about this as we get along.
That's right.
But, I just felt that we cannot continue to allow other people, borrowed voices, to speak for us and to determine our future. I know that I'm better qualified than so many of the people who have been in position of authority as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, both as military rulers and recently civilian rulers, so not leaders. So it is time for us to have real leaders and people who are vibrant, people who have connections, with the grassroots. People who have a solid understanding, who have the drive and the stamina to run Nigeria the way it should in this particular century.
Right.
And that's why I have brought myself to people to say, look, we have to head in a different direction because this country hasn't moved anywhere.
Absolutely.
We need to move the country now, and we can't wait. We don't have time on our side, and that's the reason why I have presented myself as an aspirant and moving rapidly to become the presidential candidate soon.
Right.
And I understand that people are in a hurry to get away, to move away from this kind of backward leadership we've had in Nigeria now. We're very prepared to make it happen. The motivation is simple. We have to get away from where we are now. We have to move rapidly into a period and era of growth, real development, peace and prosperity for Nigeria.
Yes.
And I don't see who's more equipped to do than someone who's understood and fought over these years to make sure that whenever Nigeria is going in the right direction, they put their lives on the line, put themselves on the front line to make sure that we are at least stable. And nobody can claim to have done that better than some of us.
Right, well, you're there. So what structures, what machinery have you put in place to ensure that all these things you're saying, you can arrive there? what will you put in place? Because we know how it is in Nigeria. We know what we call business as usual. So it's a recycling process. You know, we bring back the same persons. We have problems of value system where people will just like, no, it doesn't matter, my vote will not. I was working with News Agency of Nigeria before. We had sat at the table. Election materials had not arrived at a particular place, but the result was on the table.
Yes.
So is there any structure in place to make sure that all those things are like things of the past, and then we can move forward? Yes, you're going to run, you have those good intentions. How are you going to bring it to us? How are you going to make it come to pass?
So when I was 21 years old, or thereabouts, a similar question could have been asked of me. And at that point, our challenges were even bigger. We had the military, we had the military tanks drilled at us at the university. And we just had elections happen. 1993. And Abiola won the election. And everybody, the people who won elections themselves within the political system, who claimed to have structure, ran away. They abandoned him. And we set up our own structures and said to ourselves we're going to help him actualize his mandate, which eventually did not immediately happen. And we would drive the military out of power, which eventually did happen. And the structures of those days are still there. That's number one. The connections of those days are still there. But the drive and determination of that era, or of this era, is even stronger now. And it is a drive and the determination to liberate ourselves that will determine how the structures form very rapidly and quickly and build themselves into all of our geopolitical arena and zones across Nigeria. And that is what is going to be fulcrum upon which we will actualize the liberation of Nigeria. This is a liberation fight as opposed to some pseudo structural system. The structure you hear about in Nigeria are these, retail structures, which helps to manipulate elections, help to bribe people. The one that they are doing now, which was actualized yesterday in the Ekiti State, is called see and buy, where people just go there, haggle for voters, loyalty, pay for it, and if they turn around and discover their opponents have paid more, they come back again and pay more. That is not democracy. So, but it's for people to understand that there are a lot of Nigerians, 70 million of them, who are outside of that structure, who will not accept that this time around. And there are young people, yes, hopefully. There are young people, they are very determined. You can see them and their revulsion towards what happened yesterday. They knew that somebody won the election, but they did not fail. Yes, they did not fail to let people know that this is not election. These are not electoral. This is not electoral politics. It's just simple dramatization of praise, as Fela would like to put it.
Yes, demonstration of praise. Yes. Mr. Sowore, why I came up with this platform, among other things, is to talk with people like you, every aspiring candidate, because we want, after 4 years, when you've been in office, we want to come back to you and say, you told us this and that and that.
That's right.
So now, this is time to mark, like a checklist.
Yes.
So that's why we do things like, as much as you talk to us all over the place, the more we can hold you accountable, and the more you commit yourself to this vision, So while I'm there, I just want to ask you again, you've talked about these various structures, and we've been promised so many 3 years running now government. We were promised light, we were promised security. I'm from Adamawa State. I've been a victim of insecurity, Boko Haram and all kinds of things. We've been promised heaven and earth. Our petrol is at its all-time high now. Our naira is terrible. It's 500 and something to a pound. Many years ago, it was at par, if not stronger. So these are all the things that I know you would need to address.
Yes, absolutely.
And
not only would I need to address them, we're addressing them already.
And we must change them. They have to be changed.
Enough that even those who are currently occupying power or position, they are not in any way hiding the fact that these ideas are so strong that they even have to steal it or steal some of them. That's where we are. I haven't been in position of authority politically speaking,
Right.
before. That is to say, paid political employment,
yeah.
or appointment or election. But I have been politically engaged and involved in Nigeria since 1989 when I stepped my foot on the campus of the University of Lagos.
Right.
So, but what am I trying to say to you here is that these promises that the leaders have made, or the former rulers have made, we should have just opposed them with their capabilities. We should have just opposed them with their antecedents and pedigree. A lot of them are coming from failed backgrounds. A lot of them are coming from low intellectual understanding of the problems. A lot of them are coming from having even failed completely before in positions of power. We've elected now, since 1999, two former presidents into office, which meant that if experience was anything to go by, they should have been the most experienced people.
The most qualified.
The most qualified. But they have also spectacularly failed us. And this is very important for us to understand that it's not enough for people to gather together this kind of experiences. It's to look at their characters, to look at their pedigree, and to look at what they have upstairs to actualize so many of these promises. The question you ask is, do they even understand the promises they were making when they made these promises? And you also have to blame us for not adequately interrogating these promises, or the people who made these promises when they were making them. Because I read somewhere that President Buhari said he's a slow reader, and he didn't understand the trade treaty on the continent of Africa, and that's why he didn't sign it until now. He just realized after he initially rejected it, because he had to rely on another person to interpret it to him. And now he realized that he was wrong, he wants to sign it. That tells you the kind of people who are running the nation of Nigeria. And we have to just change that. But the question is, you can ask me, what promises have you made as a person to the people of Nigeria, and have you fulfilled them? And I'll say, without hesitating, that I have done way more than I was expected of. When I went to the university, I was expected to graduate in 4 years with a degree. I left the University of Lagos after 6 years, after 2 expulsions, with a degree and helping to bring about democracy in Nigeria. Right? Went to prison for it. Like you have done, to slept in some of those places. You say you've been, went to Alagbo, was beaten up, tortured by the police. After I left the University of Lagos in 1995 or thereabout, what was it I did next? It was keep fighting the military until I left Nigeria in 1999. And what was the promise I made to myself after leaving Nigeria? That whatever is needed to equip myself, I will come and continue to broaden the democratic space in Nigeria.
So you've been behind the scene working.
But I'll be working.
Doing things.
And when I set up Sahara Reporters, I made it loud and clear that I came to disrupt the media space and bring about real information, raw information that would offend whomever is in position of authority, whether politically, economically, or in whatever position they occupied. Have I delivered on that promise after 2 years? Absolutely. I've offended probably more people than any media personality could have done in his life. I have helped to broaden the democratic practice in the country by ensuring that Obasanjo didn't win third term, or even get near to it. By ensuring that a minority, helping to ensure that a minority became the president of Nigeria for the first time, by ensuring that we tackled a major problem when Yaradua was sick, which was a cabal he created that wanted to truncate democracy. And ensuring free and fair election in 2014 and 2015 by being a platform that was the first to announce the first 10 states won by the opposition. And by extension, allowing for the first time a transition of power from one party to the other. Which has now become a practice in Nigeria. And those are the things that deepen democracy. What is the most important thing in our lives as a people during my lifetime? Democracy. What is most next important thing in our life during my my lifetime? Economic empowerment, economic and social justice for our people. Have I participated in all these frameworks? I have my entire life, probably more than some of the people who are now reaping and benefiting from it. I'm just saying, in a nutshell, that we cannot continue to allow our future, our destinies to be mismanaged or mishandled by people we don't trust. Those who have worked to make our countries better, to create a level playing field, to make sure that our system is transparent and accountable need to get in a position of authority. Those of us who are activists need to bring activism into governance and step on powerful toes, because there's a lot of dirty, rotten toes that needs to be stepped upon. You know, those gangrenous toes that is destroying our politics, as emasculating our people, must be stepped upon and gotten rid of. And that is where I've come in, and that's what I want people to understand the reason this month. And I'm making this argument very forcefully that this is one chance that we have to clean our country and to head in a different direction. And it's our choice to do so, and this is the best time to do so.
It's our choice, apparently, and absolutely. And talking about stepping on toes, you're going to fight cabals, we know that.
Yes, I've been fighting cabals for a long time.
Right, so it's not new to you.
It's not new.
Okay, so because, the whole thing about our economy now, one of the 6th largest oil producing country, we have what we call resource costs. I've heard that at ILO conference because we're at the lowest as a country now. We are the poorest now. We have overtaken India, and we're supposed to be one of the emerging economies, the mint countries, Indonesia, Turkey, and others, you know, and Nigeria. Are we there?
We're not.
Getting there?
So this whole myth that we are the giant of Africa is something that I don't like to hear.
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
How?
You know, you cannot be a giant simply because you have land mass.
Land mass.
Otherwise, probably Congo will be the giant of Africa.
Right.
You can only be the giant of Africa if you're a leading light on the continent of Africa. If your economy is doing
maybe once upon a time we were.
Perhaps, but I just want us to jettison that very bogus aphorism at this time, that we're not the giant of Africa. Do you know that our electricity consumption per kilowatt is only comparable with that of South Sudan? Yes. And Libya is doing better than we are. Egypt is doing better than we are. South Africa is doing better than we are. We have 7,000 megawatts of electricity available to 198 million people. You cannot honestly be shamelessly calling ourselves the giant of Africa. We are not giant.
We don't have a national carrier.
The only area where we are gigantic is in the area of failure. And so we must change that. That's the truth. We must tell ourselves this very honest truth.
It's true. I agree with you, because we are in it together. It's our country. We have to build it up. We salute your courage, because it takes courage to come out and say, I want to contest. I wouldn't do it, because I would say, not me in person, but I know a lot of people that would be like, no, I don't measure up. But I heard something about TVC, temporary voters card, and then there's a permanent one. Why all those first do a temporary one, then go do? Why not just do this thing once and then let people? Because you keep people. That's what makes people to just give up and get tired. I'm not going to do that again. Go queue up for one, then go queue up. Is it trying to break the voting system, or trying to break those that are going to register so that they already have their thing in place, their number of people they want already? Or what is that all about?
Well, it's part of the problems that we've been talking about. We are just there sitting around, just experimenting. Everything for us is social experimentation. Whereas we should do things that are permanent. You said, why do you have to have a temporary voter's card and
go through the same process of queuing and
it's all time? Aimed at just constant confusion because of incompetence. You know, when you want to go to the voters roll here in Scotland, or I imagine London, I mean in UK in general, they don't ask you to come twice. The other aspect of it, which real leadership will address, is if you already have a passport, it should be sufficient to just go somewhere and get a voter's card. And the voter's card should be available wherever you have data that is compatible with your statistics.
That's right.
What do I mean? If you have a passport, you should be able to get your voter's card from a bank. If necessary, we just have to have these conversations. You should be able to get it from a school. The day you are graduating from the school, or the day you become 18, your school should be able to give you a voter's card without having to set up a number of days, or secondary school where you pick up. You know, you should be able to get it from a post office. You know, you must be able to, all those service outlets for government should be able to provide this for you any time of the year. because the data should be available. We should be able to even get it from a phone company, a telecom company,
Right.
because they're all in possession of your data anyway. So we just need to do is to bring together a synchronization of the data that is available. Now there's plenty of data available in Nigeria. The banks are collecting your BVN.
Yes.
The phone companies are collecting your fingerprints,
Me
even
too.
your retina identity, eyes and fingerprints. The passport immigration office is collecting your information. The Federal Road Safety Commission is collecting your driver's license information. So already, which includes your blood type and all of that. So already there's plenty of data relating to an average Nigerian, almost 4 or 5 places.
Yes.
So we need to synchronize this data and just make sure that it's available for you to use. So when you turn 18, in fact, when I become president, when you turn 18, your PVC will be mailed to your address.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the way. You shouldn't have to go and look for it because we already have your data. We already have your biostatistics.
Right.
You know, or biodata as they call it.
Yeah.
The moment you turn 18, we send you a PVC. And if you are in a bank and you turn 18, just like a phone company is sending you a message saying, oh, congratulations on your birthday, we will also send you a text message to say, hey, congratulations. Please go get your PVC because the most important thing for us now is for you to be able to vote. You've turned 18. This is time to exercise your civic duty to the country. So these are the things that real leadership would do. And they don't take too much to do that because, like I said, the data is already available. There's no reason why someone has to get a temporary card first and get it. It means that it costs twice the amount of time it should to get a voter to get registered. But I'm saying to even get rid and eliminate all of that nonsense by every means. Make it available or make it possible for everyone who is in
and
need
eliminate waste.
And
Because it's a waste. It's a waste.
Because I'm telling you, probably INEC is spending nothing less than 20 to, if it's not 50 billion, just to do voters registration.
Right. And you want to do it twice.
Half of it is going into somebody's pocket.
Oh, yes.
Through corruption and
These
waste.
are the things that must be addressed. So what would you say to us in the next 4 years, if you get there in 2019, another 4 years, what would you have done that is remarkable, that will change, that will make me know that a change has actually come to Nigeria, that I can see even the layman, that the one that is not reading newspaper, feels it?
First,
we
have to stop the bloodletting in the country by overhauling our security system.
How do you do that, overhauling our security system?
You see, one of the things that President Buhari could have done is to ensure that the security apparatus in the country is constantly retrained, reformed, and ensuring that bad eggs are removed from the system. But since he came to office, he has not even changed his chief of army staff, despite the fact that he was cited as having engaged in corruption in Dubai, which was one of the first things we did. The man is still there. So you have all these people who are caked in the system, who have primordial sentiments, biases, and also very great knack for being simply because President Buhari's people, they're from his village. The man is very sentimentally provincial. That is to say, you voted for him as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He suddenly became the school prefect of Dara High School. So, and that's what is killing Nigeria right now. He can't change anybody as long as you are not from his village, or you are not a member of his family. And this is very, very sad.
That is the cabal thing again.
Yes, it's created a cabal around himself. And it's shown that he's not competent.
So security? So
we'll do security. And after security, which is also linked to security's power, in 4 years, we must get Nigeria to a level of power supply through energy mixes. That is, we take wind, solar, gas, biogas, because cow dung can generate electricity.
The sun in my state.
Yes, the sun in Adamawa State is enough to power the whole of Nigeria. If you go to Sokoto, Kebbi, so we're starting from there. 4,500 is the first target in the first 3 years of electricity. We want to ensure that every household can enjoy electricity, or most of Nigeria can enjoy electricity 24/7. And that will, by extension, just help our economy to grow. Astronomically.
Yes, that's a skill.
And when your economy grows and you're into the business of manufacturing and production, your currency will firm up.
Right.
So every other microeconomic policy aimed at strengthening the currency of a country is tangential.
Right. Yeah.
Only if there is power, and you can have production or means of production. And after that, infrastructure, we have to integrate Nigeria. It has to be roads linking villages, towns, and cities, so that when the farmers produce, they can sell, and we can reduce drastically the post-harvest loss. That places like because I did my youth corps in Adamawa State, and fish used to be shipped. But I was wondering in those days, what if we can get the fish from Benue to, Lagos on time? Will it not make it better for the fishermen? Because that means we'll make more money and more people will be fishing, and we can have the same thing. Goats, akuya used to be the cheapest thing, but you are not able to transport it to where it is needed on time, and so infrastructure is key. And we plan to have this dual carriageway system that links major regions to every region must have a dual carriage system of highway. And in addition to that, I'm looking out of this place, I see a train moving up and down. By now, Port Harcourt to Lagos should be 3 hours maximum. And we should be rapidly going into 1.5 hours of transportation time, the way they are doing in China. Most of the infrastructure that is built in China, that is making China being the talk of town, was built in the last 30 years. The destruction that is happening in Nigeria, that is making Nigeria be the place as an example for failure, was mostly carried out in the last 30 years. With Babangida, followed by all these characters that we have, who are in power today, jokers. So
even Dubai,
I
watched the documentary in Dubai.
Dubai was started around 90. Well, it started 72, but the real rapid development started in the 90s.
And see where they are today.
And every bozo, political bozo in Nigeria has an apartment or mansion in Dubai. And so that's it. And that takes me to fighting corruption. And if we don't fight corruption,
are you going to be jailing? Because we don't see anybody going anywhere, but they said they are fighting corruption.
I don't want to threaten anybody, but we will
not allow. Are you going to handle it?
We will be very, very tough. This
man has been caught for it and it's proven. Is he going to pay for it, or to be given leave?
Where is it on earth that you think people pay for corruption these days? It's on Sahara reporters first, before the government then do their own macabre dance that we say, which is no big. So as an individual, I've been doing this for a long time. So I don't think there's anybody within the political class out there who is in doubt that I will be tough for corruption. They somehow must have tasted some of that on our website the last few years. So from there we go, of course, into economy. I mentioned there's no economy without having security, power, infrastructure, fighting corruption.
Nothing.
So those are some of the issues. Our political platform is based on what we call SPICER HEAT, which is security, power, infrastructure, anti-corruption, economy, restructuring, health, agriculture, health, education, agriculture, and tourism. Those are the plans. But they will, the moment we have a handle around all of this, all of that great things will come into the country. And in 4 years' time, you're sitting down here with me, hopefully. You have said, wow, you did more than you promised. And that,
I hope so, because...
and I hope you won't be sitting here with me. We'll be sitting down in Adamawa doing the next interview.
We're going to make this safe, we're going to do it.
Happy.
Oh, yes. I'm always afraid to go home now because of all these problems. So once those ones are addressed, I pack my bags and go. There's so much I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about charity in Nigeria. I've not got the time. I want to talk about... I'll just round up. I'm going to do this with you again on phone.
That would be great. I'll be, we can do it on phone, or we can do it via Skype.
Skype, yes.
Or even Facebook Live. Whichever way is comfortable for you.
I got loads of questions from... Everybody sent me questions when I said I'm going to do this with you. And I didn't print half of it because I know I won't get that time, so that you can go and do other things. And there's more coming up at the town hall meeting today. If you're watching us, be there. Town hall meeting. The venue is at the Edinburgh University, right?
Yeah.
It's 3 to 5 p.m. It's going to be loaded and stormy. It was great in Glasgow as I've been watching it. So don't forget to be there. And then we've got our dinner tonight at Bangor Road. I'll put the address on the screen as well. I've been talking with Mr. Sowore Omoyele. Yes. I've absolutely been thrilled, you know, talking to him. I have so much to talk to him about, but I'll come back, like I said to him, you know. Say one thing to my viewers and commit yourself to coming back on Trending with Macrae.
Yes, I will. Well, I have to say happy Sunday to you, viewers. It's a pleasure. I'm here in Scotland, and very soon we're heading to Nigeria to resume our campaign on the ground. So we want to hit the ground running and just to give an assurance to the people of Nigeria that everything you're hearing from us will be done with due diligence, with great commitment, and utmost transparency and integrity. That's what is coming to Nigeria. You have a choice. It's either you want to stick with the old guards and go back in reverse direction, or you stand with us and move forward, making progress and bringing growth, prosperity, peace, and real development to the continent of Africa and the country of Nigeria, and by extension, the black race. It's going to be great, and we're looking forward to a future that is bright together. And a commitment to come back to on your show, yes.
Good. Before you go,
yeah.
Do we know your platform just now?
We haven't declared a platform, and the reason is very strategic.
Okay.
We don't want to declare a platform without an adequate background check. We already have a movement in place. It's called Take It Back, and you can join that movement in preparation for taking off to join a political party pretty soon. And the moment we declare a political party, you know that there's no stopping us. Even now, there's no stopping us. But part of the reason we didn't declare a political party platform was what happened last week with their so-called mega coalition of Sowore. And we're glad, as we predicted, that the coalition is falling apart. And it's going to fall apart until it hits the ground. But they made us a target in that coalition, such that they thought we were joining a political party, approached some of them and brought them over, only to find out that we're not part of this coalition.
So it's strategic, not to
it is strategic. So please just bear with us. We'll declare a platform very soon. And when we do so, we hope all of you will just move with us and start moving smoothly and progressively to coast into victory in 2019. There's no going back. We have the best opportunity, we have the best chance, and the best time is now for us to take our country back. So we just urge you to take it back.
Right. We have heard it all from him. No more to add. He'll be back on this show. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you.